markedly different than it was when the quarterback change was initially made?
I think a lot of the younger guys have got some experience, and so I think that the cohesion and chemistry. Obviously, back then you're playing a lot of guys, and I was still feeling it out at running back. Speak on my position, so you had a lot of guys rolling. I think now guys are more comfortable with the rotation, the communication level. They know what to expect out of each other. So I think just overall, the chemistry and cohesion, it's consistent. Whereas early in the season, you're playing a lot of guys, you're still trying to develop that. But I think now everybody knows what it's going to look like for the most part, game in and game out. They know how to prepare, and they execute at a high level.
Important to not take ACC championship games for granted. Sometimes people look at the bigger picture, they look at the state rivalry games. I mean, 4 in a row, this is a big deal. I think that they don't take
No question, and the way Coach Sweeney set up the program, this is one of our goals, on our board. Obviously, the national championship is not a goal per se; it's a byproduct of us reaching the other goals that we have set. And just like the state championship is a goal that we have on our board and something that we can control and we can achieve. And then winning the ACC championship, and I mean, it's hard to win a football game. So trust me, these guys aren't looking beyond this one. We know that we're going to get the best effort from Pitt. They're going to be a very confident team. They beat these seniors and juniors. Actually lost to these guys, their only home loss. So they're going to be excited to play, and nobody's taking this for granted. And I think that this team is a team that's very focused, and they got some goals, and they know in order to achieve their overall goals, they got to take it one game at a time. So nobody's looking past an ACC championship, and we're going to celebrate just like we celebrated last week after winning the state championship.
How much different is Pitt this year compared to 2 years ago? I know a couple years ago they had injuries, and so they just broke the box and dared to throw it.
Yep.
How different is their approach this year?
Structurally, they're very, very similar, and I think it starts with Coach Narduzzi and his approach, his philosophy on defense. And you can see they're going to have a 7th defender, whether it's the nickel Sam folding in on a run scheme. You can see the safeties are going to fit aggressively. So they're geared to stop the run, and then they're going to rely on their corners to play man coverage and make you throw and make contested plays. And so they're very, very similar. Is mixing up a little bit more coverage, not quite as much of a 4-man all game. He's bringing some pressures to stop your run. You can see they got some experienced guys on the back end. They communicate well. They read their keys very, very quickly. They get to their spots, and so our guys are going to have to do a good job of making sure that we understand the tendencies that they're looking at, try to disguise those, and then you got to win at the point of attack. They're long at defensive end. They do a good job with their inside guys, hold the point of attack. Their backers are downhill, so it's going to be an aggressive defense that's going to challenge us.
Tony, how much of an edge, or is it an edge for you guys, that you have this experience in the ACC championship game? You can almost take the binder off the shelf and say, okay, this is what we do this week to get ready, and that the guys know that too.
I think the guys have confidence in the routine of preparing. Obviously, they got to go out and they got to play 4 quarters and they got to execute at a high level, but I think they understand what our week's going to look like, and it's going to look like just any other week as we approach. The only difference is when we get there, we may go walk around the stadium on Friday, but the schedule is going to be the same here in terms of game prep. We're going to have the same mental Monday, Tanoga Tuesday, all the way up until we get there. But I think the guys have been there. They know what to expect. They play in the greatest atmosphere in the country here at home, so they're not going to be intimidated by the size of the crowd, the size of the stadium. But the biggest thing is just making sure that they don't deviate from the plan that's made us successful up to this point.
Have you seen that play out in some of these past championships when you are facing a first-time participant like you have the last?
It's hard to say because I'm not in their locker room. I don't know what their preparation process is. I just focus on Clemson and getting our guys ready to go, and obviously they've done a good job over the last several years of being ready and prepared and playing well in this game. And I think it's again a byproduct of the way we set up our season. We know we're in the primetime championship phase, and you work all year to play in November and December, and really people only remember what you do in November and December. So they have that mindset, and we're going to go back to work. We're going to come out here tonight, and we got to go 1-0 this week and put all our emphasis and empty the tank and leave no doubt, hopefully, that we are what we've been able to accomplish so far.
But do you think the fact that you're playing your 4th different coastal opponent in 4 years in the ACC championship kind of underscores the consistency of your program and how rare it is to do what you've done?
I think at the end of the day, The numbers, the records, and the accomplishments will speak for themselves. I really can't say anything, about the other side of the division. We just focus on winning our division and being the best version of ourselves. So it doesn't matter who we play. We look forward to playing whoever has earned the right. And you can't discredit, Pitt and what they've done this season. They earned the right to be in the ACC championship. They won the games they needed to win, and now they're there, and they're going to be fired up. They're going to be confident. And so for us, we're just focused on having our best preparation, best week of preparing, and going out and playing whoever lines up across from us.
A couple of weeks ago, there was the situation on the sideline with Travis getting very angry at himself. We in here see a very buttoned down, kind of quiet, understated Travis Etienne. Do you see a different side of him, and is that sort of maybe showcased a little bit of that fiery Travis?
I'm glad you asked it, because I wanted to see it. I didn't get to see it because I was up in the box, and so whenever that question was posed, I didn't know anything about it. And so when I went and asked him, and he said he was frustrating himself. I don't get to see that much out of Travis, and that's good to know, because I'm trying to push those buttons to get him to be consistent and perform at the highest level possible week in and week out. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't think he understands, how much talent he actually has. He just goes and plays football. Y'all interview him, y'all see him all the time. He's just a happy-go-lucky guy, real unassuming, very, very humble. He just goes out and does what he does, and I'm trying to push him to be the best version of himself, and he's making steps, but he's still a young guy. He's just a sophomore. He's still making a transition, but to see and know that he cares, that's what I'm looking for as a coach. I didn't get to see the actual reaction, so I don't know what his face looked like, if he had a frown or anything like that, but just to know that is that important to him. I can see that I'm starting to push the buttons that are going to hopefully propel him to be, the best version of himself, and that's really, what my job is, and whatever else happens after that happens, but knowing that he cares is important, and I put a lot on him. I mean, he's the lead dog in the room. He's the first one that runs out there. I put a lot of stress on that guy, because he's got to set the tempo. He's got to set the example for what we do in our room. And then all the other guys got to follow, and then they got to be preparing themselves for when they run out there, they have that same mentality.
Going back to Saturday, Adam's performance and 3 touchdowns, marked in his career here at Clemson. What does that say about Adam, and how good do you feel for him after 4 years of being with him and seeing all the trials and tribulations he's been through?
I don't. And one of the support staff said it. They said that you normally don't smile much after the game, because, man, I'm exhausted. I've put a lot into it, and really my focus is not for me to smile, but to see the players smile. But, man, I had a big smile on my face for Adam Choice, and I said it after the game. And I'm glad that his mom pointed it out, but Christy Fuller was there. I know how tight he and CJ were, and what this game meant to him, and what he's meant to me. I mean, he's just been a rock. And we talk about Travis, we talk about Lynn J, we talk about Taven, and Adam is sometimes kind of the forgotten one, but really he's the rock of that room, and I'm so looking forward to him possibly being a team captain. That's something that I want out of my room. I was a team captain, and that's probably one of the greatest accomplishments that I've had in my career, both playing and coaching, is to be considered a team captain, and he's that caliber of young man. Now obviously the team will vote on it, and we don't know those results yet, but I see him as a possible team captain, and for him to be able to finish in the Valley that way, and to have 3 touchdowns, and to just to see the smile on his face, and it wasn't a smile because he had 3 touchdowns per se, but it was just a smile like, man, how cool was that? And I put an exclamation point on my career, and that's what made it so special for me with him.
Coach, you won the Broyles Award last year. Last week, Jeff Scott was named the semifinalist. You make it a hat trick, winning 3 in a row. Only supposed to win 2 in a row. How cool would that be?
Man, that would be awesome. I mean, that would be so awesome for Brent to introduce me, and then for me to have an opportunity to introduce Jeff. Man, that would be so awesome. And the relationship that Jeff and I have, starting here as stretch partners, and now just the run that we've been on together, and I know what he stands for, and learning what Coach Broyle stood for, and what he embodied, and to see him have an opportunity. Hopefully he'll be a finalist, and I know I have to go back out there as part of the ceremony. They always bring back the previous year's winner, so I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed that he and Sarah are going to get to experience that, and hopefully, if it's the Lord's plan, we'll have a hat trick. But if he's there, man, that's going to be an awesome experience for he and I to go through together, to add to the other awesome experiences that we've had together.
Tony, Dabo noted that I guess on his touchdown run, showed shake maybe he had previously.
Yeah.
Is that just a product of being healthy, confident, and maybe elaborate?
You know, it's that one touchdown run. First of all, it was blocked beautiful. You know, as I was going through my my game breakdown and my notes, that's the only comment I had for the offense was, man, that was beautiful, because literally they fit it up and it was exactly how you would draw it up on the board. It's the back, it's untouched, one-on-one to the safety, and Taven was patient. You know, he found it, and once he got to the safety, and that's something I challenge all these guys every single day in practice is, man, don't go through the motions, finish every single run. And so he finished that run the way that I've been challenging him to finish in practice, and it wasn't much. It was just a subtle little redirect of his body weight. He got the safety to lean, and now he's in position to be violent if he needed to be violent. And so I think it's just a function of now he's healthy. You know, he's confident. You know, he knows. And again, go back to the earlier question. I mean, he knows he's the second one going in the game. He knows, you know, about when he's going to go in the game. So now he's feeling confident in his role. He understands his role, and so when he gets out there, he can go play.
Trevor had his longest run the other night, 32 yards. The week before, he had his longest run at 19 yards. He also picked up a 3rd and 3 with his legs the other night. He's obviously not going to run the ball a ton, but is that becoming a bigger part of the offense, Brad?
You know, just I've said it all along. I mean, Trevor can run. You know, a lot of people don't give him credit for his athleticism, but he can run, and that's what he does. And really, you see the benefit of his legs in the pocket and how he just extends plays. You know, how the touchdown he threw to T, just how he slid in the pocket, used his legs, and man threw a dart to T. So as he continues to grow and get more confident, then he's going to find, just like Deshaun did, you know, as he got further in his career. Okay, it's not open downfield. Let's extend the play, protect myself, move on to the next one. So just as we continue to go and he's more comfortable, and then there's going to be some situations, you know, like on that 3rd and 3. You know, it was an RPO and they took the pass away, and he had to pull it down and did a really good job and looked confident doing it. So as we go forward, we're going to have to use every aspect of every guy, you know, as we get into the championship phase.
Tony, going into the season, you had the quarterback change going into game 4, and it had to handcuff you a little bit as far as what you could do with offense and with the game plan. But now that you've got Trevor in there for 8 games, have you been able to open up your offense, or are there some areas that you haven't been able to open up yet that you haven't gotten?
You know, I think each week poses a challenge in itself. You know, every defensive coordinator is going to have a plan of attack. They're going to want to take away an aspect of your game. So as we go each week, you know, we try to add a few things. But really, we're at a point now where we got to be good at our base stuff. And I think what you're seeing is guys are a lot more confident in just the base stuff, and then we add the tweaks each week based off of the game plan. And so we'll never try to add too much just to add too much for the sake of saying we're great, you know, coaches and whatnot. But we're going to try and make sure we have a plan that fits the scheme and then also puts our players in a position to be successful. So as we've gone on each week, those little tweaks, whenever it carries over, you're able to carry those over, and then maybe you can use those to add another little wrinkle, you know, as you get into it. But right now, it's championship football. You got to win at the point of attack, got to be able to run the football, stay balanced, and then you know, take advantage of the things in the passing game that they're going to give you.
Speaking of the wrinkle, this week we saw a little bit of two-back stuff that we haven't seen lately. Was that just something you saw particularly for this game that you wanted to implement?
Yeah, that was something, and Coach Sweeney as well. You know, just challenging. And again, we got a lot of support staff that goes out and tries to keep us, you know, abreast of what's going on with everybody in the country. And we saw an opportunity to get those guys on the field, maybe give them something that they hadn't seen before, just to make them communicate a little bit more on the sideline. So that was a wrinkle there, and it worked out for us, and it gave us an opportunity to come up with a screen. So those are the kind of things, just small packages like that. But at the end of the day, you know, when it came down to it, we were running our base, you know, inside run game, and the guys up front did an unbelievable job of creating a new line of scrimmage, and the running backs benefited from it.
Jackson Carmen seems like he's getting more and more meaningful snaps. What have you seen from him down the stretch kind of more in time?
He's just every day you see a little bit more and more maturity out of him. Obviously, we know physically how talented he is, but also you're seeing a lot more maturity, just trying to really take ownership of the little things, and that's really what it takes. And obviously, you know, for him, coming in, there's a lot of expectations. You're playing behind Mitch, and another thing I've seen is he's really absorbed, you know, the relationship and the information that Mitch is passing on to him, and you're starting to see more consistency in his play, and that gives us, again, added depth going down, but then also whenever we can get him experience, it's huge for him.
Tony, on one of the touchdown runs, another offensive lineman, freshman Matt Bachor, showed a lot of physicality in that play. Can you talk about what he's done so far this year and where he's developed?
You know, no question. You know, it was a guy coming off an injury. We knew that he had the demeanor and that just that nasty streak about him. And John goes down and he jumps in there, and like you said, all those guys played physical up front. They were out, they had a point to prove, really wanted to own the line of scrimmage. But he's a guy that with reps, he's going to continue to get better. Had some reps early in the season, then he got banged up a little bit at Florida State, missed some time. So now he's back feeling good, and then he had to go in just like Gage had to step in at center when Falsinelli was out. So just credit to Robbie just having all those guys ready to play, and then just the mentality of as a whole as a program that next man up. You're one play away from the team counting on you to win the game.
Coach Trevor's had 3 fumbles now at the mesh point. The other night was
that was Lynn J.
Is that just a matter of repetition, or and how difficult is that when you have so many backs like you do?
Correct, and that's and I use the example all the time of Wayne Gallman in the national championship, that we lost. The best block run play, he fumbles the mesh, and so I go back and tell these guys that every single rep that we take on this practice field, I'm saying pocket integrity, bottom shelf. Make sure that your steps are where they need to be, your aiming points where it needs to be, because again, we got to be consistent on that. And really, Trevor did his job. It's just Lynn J, and good old Lynn J. Y'all know, oh, he's a pleasure to be around. He just brings a smile to your face. But he said, Coach, man, I just saw the hole and I got excited. Well, I said, look, I can't have you getting excited without the ball. Now you got to have the ball to hit the hole. But biggest thing was he just the little things, and that's just going to be a great learning point for him. And they got 7 points off of that too. So they got 7 points off that turnover. And we were in a position where things were clicking, that we had an opportunity to at least maybe drive down, flip the field, or even score points right there. So it is tough, because you got 4 backs trying to get reps with not just Trevor. You got to get him with Chase, then you got to get him with Ben. So just trying, and each one is a little bit different. Each quarterback has his little nuances of how he handles the mesh. Each back step's different. Their depths are different. So again, we got to continue to work on that, and it's my job to make sure that I point out every single day the importance of the little thing. That's my job, is to get them from 7 yards deep to the line of scrimmage, and then their talent takes over after that.
What is your favorite amenity in the applied science lab?
Well, I don't get to use that much. They keep us upstairs, kind of locked in the staff room, game planning. But man, it's unbelievable with all the stuff that they have in there. And I kind of like the float tank. I hadn't been in it, but it seems like it's pretty cool that you can go in there. And I'm kind of scared though, because Amari came out that first time and the salt was in his hair and his hair turned gray. And so I'm not quite ready for my hair to turn gray. I'm already losing it a little bit right here, but the float tank is pretty cool, and just the support of the administration and the athletic department to give us the resources for that, and then Coach just seeing that that's the next phase of growth in college football. And then we got an unbelievable young man in Alex Bina, and just what he's brought to our program, just the science. And I got appreciation for numbers and science and nerdy kind of stuff, being with my engineer background, but just to see what he's been able to do with the stretch zone and the different things that they're doing. But I'd say probably the float tank is the coolest thing.
Tony, you've watched that defensive front, the guys who come back, go up against your guys forever. Given the hype that they had coming into the season, how have you must have an appreciation for how they've handled it and prepared for this moment, because this is why they came back.
No question, and just the leadership. Those guys are going to show up every single day, and Christian, nobody works harder than Christian Wilkins. He's the best player, probably the most recognized player. He's got a ton of awards, and yet he's the first one out of the tunnel when we get to the stadium. He's the first one on the practice field. He's the last one to leave. He's grabbing Jordan Williams by the throat and saying, "Come on, this is how we do it." You just seen the leadership that those guys exude. Cleveland is another one. I mean, heck, there's times I'm getting here early in the morning and he's pulling in right behind me. He's a guy that's here all the time. So just for those guys to come back, they were very, very focused, but not just focused on accomplishing things in the postseason, but they knew what it was going to take every single day, and they bring that leadership. And I think that's why, as a whole, you see this team, because we still have some young pieces on offense. We had to fit in some new guys at different spots, but they have 4 great examples, over on that side that sacrifice, and they have one in their own in Mitch Hyatt too. Mitch doesn't get a ton of credit, in talking about that, but Mitch had a decision to make too, and he decided to come back. And I mean, heck, and I've said it all along that since Mitch has been here, You know, we've won a lot of football games, and he's been a staple on that left side, and he's made John Simpson so much better. He's made Falsinelli better. He's made, you know, Gage better. He's made Ankrum better, Pollard. He's made all those guys better. So just the tremendous amount of leadership from all those guys that decided to come back is the reason that we sit in this position, and these guys are on track to have a special season.
Coach, Travis has had his issues catching the ball. It must have been nice to see him make that 9-yard catch the other night, and is that something that he's worked really hard on?
Yeah, he should have scored, though. Golly, I mean, you get Travis that much space. He must have been tired. That's why Coach pulled him out and put Taven in right after that. But yeah, it was good to see. And really, with Travis is like I'm saying, every single day, just pushing him to be his best, because some things have been really, really easy, you know, for him, and he's been able to get away with that. Whereas catching the ball is something that he really didn't have to do in high school. They either hand it to him or give him a quick little pitch, and he's off and running. So for him to progress to become the player that he's capable of being, if he wants to play for a long time at the next level, he's got to be able to really hone in. And again, it's not a physical problem. It's just an attention to detail and making sure that he's not trying to run before he catches the ball. So it was good to see that, and that put us in position to, you know, to get the ball down there and go score a touchdown a couple plays later.
Tony, your name is likely to pop up in association with potential job opportunities in several weeks. What would it take to extract you from your alma mater?
Man, to be honest, I don't know, and I really haven't thought about it. And you know, I kind of hate this time of year from the standpoint of, man, I got an unbelievable group of seniors. I got an unbelievable group of running backs. We got an unbelievable group of guys on offense that have been extremely committed to this program. They've been unselfish. They've been loyal. They've been committed. And I don't want to be a distraction in any sense of the matter to those guys. And so, you know, that stuff, as I said before, that's the Lord's plan, the Lord's timing. All that stuff will have its place. But right now, you know, we're in the midst of a championship run, and my focus is on Clemson. And I owe that to this program. I owe it to Coach Sweeney, you know, the staff, these players, that they get my best. And y'all, if y'all follow me on social media, I'm not on social media, so I really don't know what's going on out there, but you do get text messages and whatnot. But for me, my focus is on Clemson football. I'm at home here. My boys were born here. I love it here. So I really haven't given much thought as to what lies beyond next week.
Tony, to follow up on that, what kind of luxury is it to have a staff filled with so many Clemson alums, guys that you actually played with and shared the field with? And how big of an advantage is that in recruiting and as well as setting the culture?
Right, I think that just really drives home the overall philosophy that Coach Sweeney has for this program. You know, when it starts with he wants to graduate players and equip them for tools for life, and then not only is that something that's on a piece of paper and on a board or on a wall somewhere, they see it every single day. They see myself, they see Coach Scott, they see Coach Pearman, they see, you know, Maverick Morris transition from a player last year to now a GA. So it's a living, breathing thing that reinforces the culture and the environment that we have here. And then you know as well that they're going to be, you know, unselfish. They're going to be loyal. They're going to be committed to this program because they got blood, sweat, and tears, equity on these fields, these practice fields, and in Death Valley. And so when a recruit comes on campus, you're not fabricating anything. I mean, it's genuine, it's real. We're not perfect people, and nobody's perfect, and we're not the perfect place. But we got really, really good people that are truly and genuinely invested in this program. They want to see it be successful, and they'll put their desires and their goals to the back burner so that the program, you know, excels. And in the end, everybody, you know, has an opportunity to be successful because of that.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.